paz y unidad. तो आवाज ही नहीं आ रही।
तो नहीं रूल में पे
for community schools implementing grants. Okay.
Okay, try now. Can you hear us now?
Okay, now I can hear you.
Yeah?
You can hear us?
Okay, we're going with this one. Okay, try one more time. It's like, 3, go.
There you go. Thank you everybody for your patience. Obviously we've been having some audio issues and we're trying to get connected. If you're just joining us, welcome in, the last meeting of the year. Very excited for the new year. Just to quickly reintroduce myself, Alejandro Aguirre, DPAC president. We have Daniela here, vice president, and hopefully soon, if not already, Robinson should be joining us online from France, is it?
Paris. Yeah.
Paris, where she invited us, but that's okay. So yes, following the agenda, we have new information, inputs for the community schools implement grant, SSS updates and support, SSC reports and from each school, and then follow-ups and next steps. We'll be working on that as well. So once again, thank you guys all for your patience. I'll hand it up for some good information to Julie.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone in person. Thank you for coming, and everyone in the virtual world. Thank you. We have many things to share with you today. One, I just wanted to point out a really neat thing that happened in the last couple of weeks. If you haven't heard of or heard him speak before, the U.S. Secretary of Education, Miguel Cardona, is a very personable and interesting person to listen to. And he put out in the last week National Parent Involvement Day. I did not know such a thing existed. Apparently it does. And he shared about his own children, the grades they're in, and his whole staff came on, if you watch the recording that's linked here, and talked about being parents of high school students, younger kids, and the importance of being involved with the community. They also shared the Biden-Harris's launch of being bilingual as a superpower and put out a whole bunch of resources, the English Learner Family Toolkit in English, Spanish, and Arabic. They put out handbooks for refugee families in English, Spanish, and French, more to come. And so I've given those resources to every school site, so you have them. But I wanted to make sure you knew that we are celebrating parent involvement, and what a great, what do I want to say, representation of that here, seeing so many of you here today. So thank you for joining us. But our big piece of work today is to prepare for applying for the Community Schools Implementation Grant. You may or may not have heard of this before. You will be hearing about it at your school sites if you haven't. And so what we're going to do is take a look at what it is today, look at feedback you've given already in the past, and then see if there are additional ideas that you'd like to share for our community going forward. So I want to start with, what is a community school? And Lord help us, hopefully this will work. This is a video from the Oakland School District that explains it better than I ever could.
We are college ready, we're ready.
And we're ready for that community.
We're ready. We're ready.
Estamos listos.
We're ready.
I think education is like the key thing. In my mindset, I can't do nothing without education.
When we came here, I remember they asked us who wanted to go to college, and everyone was just like, nah. No thanks. Now it's not even a question. There's no one thought.
When I look around the school every day, I see success. Kids who were written off. I see kids who were told they could not do what they are showing they can do. And I see a community who are proud of these kids.
College ready,
I'm college ready, career ready.
Career ready.
community ready.
I'm ready.
And we're dealing with the students, the family, and the community, because that's what ensures academic growth.
There's a lot of things that need to be in place for a child to sit down and be ready to learn.
I think that's what any parent wants for their kid. Is a school that's really there to meet their needs on not just the surface level, but actually going very deep to what the family needs.
Yes, we look at the child as a whole person. The education needs first, then physical well-being, the emotional well-being.
Community schools allow us to meet kids' needs so that they can stay in the classroom. And it allows teachers to further challenge kids because they're being supported. You can be more rigorous with them because they can handle it.
When I took the school 6 years ago, the API score was in the low 500s, and now we're actually pushing 750. And that would not have been possible without the number of community partners that have made investments.
I mean, we have tons and tons and tons of partners. Oakland Housing Authority partners with the school
We
district.
have the housing mobile.
The after school program,
Adult education, skill building, how to be prepared for an interview.
our dental survey, get they glasses, they give you phone glasses.
Schools like counselors, mental health coordinators.
Trauma circles, we have a Read 180 program, Eagle Network reading intervention for our students, internships, college access groups,
The farmer's market.
tax prep, we do clothing drive, free backpacks, mentorship.
A dad's club. You come and get everything that you need in order to move forward right here on campus.
We have school community managers at sites now to help us bring in more resources to help parents.
We start coordinating services before the school year even begins. We meet together, talk about what services we absolutely need to have. And then we work to make sure that that can happen here. There's a whole lot of work that's gonna go into helping a student be successful, and we all need each other to do that.
So data has clearly indicated that the school sites that actually have high parent participation, the students perform better.
Since the school has placed an actual parent center on campus, parents can come into the center, which is their space, just building community.
You see a lot of parents walking around taking ownership of their schools, and that means a lot to families where they can walk around and say, oh yeah, I did that.
If parents have a question about how a class is run, they're more than welcome to come sit in the class. Just like the community partners are more than welcome to come sit in classrooms and see how things are done. A general openness that the whole school has. When you bring in other organizations, you bring in families, it changes the whole feeling of the school.
It becomes like a magnet, and others want to be part of it.
This school, yes, is a huge, huge part of my life. And really, it is community for me.
My eyes are open more to the community, not so much the community being violent, but there are real people that live in the community. There are real people with so many talents and skills. They just need to come out.
When I think about a student who is dealing with severe trauma just because of deaths in their family, and they're on the verge of dropping out of school, and when we can give them the services they need to keep them away from that, keep them in school and studying, it changes the whole dynamic of their life and of our community.
Our school, even though it's surrounded by all this chaos, it feels so nice to be in this place. We come to school to learn, and this is what we're gonna do.
Rather than have students shutting down and not learning, we have students who know that there are people on this campus who truly care about them and care about whether or not they make it.
In the beginning, I thought it was more of high expectations, but we didn't have a lot of the partnerships and support. So now when we have all the different partnerships, it's a way of saying, I expect you to be up here, but I'm also giving you people and resources to be able to reach that level.
My son already asked me, so after fifth grade, and what middle school, and high school, and then college, and I'm like, yeah.
Our average GPAs are higher, even though our instruction is more rigorous. Our kids' reading levels are growing at a higher rate.
I believe that if we invest in our youth, send our youth out to college so they can get degrees and bring those degrees and that knowledge back to the hood, then we can change our community.
I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready.
I'm ready.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
It can work. I've seen it work. I know it works.
All right, gotta stop that. Let me get us back to our. So that in a nutshell.
My name is
what,
Angel.
oh shoot. That go away, no more.
My name is Angel Amartina Kuma, and I'm.
There we go. I'm not sharing my screen yet, though. I'm like, hang on, we'll get there. Okay, so, that in a very broad sense is what community schools can be. And as you can see from the people talking, Oakland has been doing this for a while. This is something that we have the opportunity now to apply for, to bring to Lawndale schools. But to give you a little bit more information, about what a community school is. It's really about working with the whole child. You heard about all kinds of services from glasses to dental, to mental health supports, to academics, and the partnership with many, many, many community partners. That is what community schools envisions as the model. And it's built on 4 pillars: integrated student supports, expanded learning time and opportunities, active family and community engagement, and collaborative leadership practices. And you may say, well, we have a lot of that stuff already. So how does this fit? So to just give you an idea, integrated student supports is really about tackling mental health services, making sure our kids are ready to learn. We have school site social workers at all of our sites, right? We have a lot of those pieces. We have vaccination clinics. We have a lot of these good things going on. Could we have more? Sure, we'd love to expand that. Do we have it later in the evening? No. So there are opportunities to build on what we have. Pillar 2 is expanded learning time and opportunities. That's our WRAP program. We have before school, we have after school, currently partnerships like with PS Arts. And we'll look at, you gave almost exactly a year ago, Dennis and Maggie came from WRAP and shared with you the idea for ELOP and what that could bring, which is extended learning opportunities grants. So that pillar you've given some feedback for, but that's one of 4, right? So we'll take a look at the feedback you've already given. And then now today is an opportunity to give more, to envision what community schools could look like for Lawndale in 2024 going forward. Active family and community engagement. That's our community liaisons, our family university, our parent workshops, our committees like this. Ours are pretty robust. And we're looking to keep building them. As one of the options shared that's been requested is that parents are able to share more of the skill sets you bring and network with each other. Like one shining example of that right now is Brenda Veronica, who I think is in the stratosphere here. She's a Spanish as a second language teacher in her prior life in Mexico. She's going to bring that skill to our district and offer Spanish classes for parents starting in January, especially for those who are trying to support their children in the dual immersion program and don't speak Spanish, right? That's a huge ask that we've been trying to provide. But imagine all the other things we could be providing with additional funds and partners. And then collaborative leadership practices, which is professional development for our staff and our administrators on how to really collaborate and be partners with parents in a different way than we have been before. So there's a lot of opportunity within these 4 pillars in the community schools grant. You will be receiving surveys today, next week. They're coming out soon. They'll be going to every family asking for your individual input. What could you envision? What could community schools look like for us? What would be your ideal type of curriculum or food, safety, the environment, health supports, the school buildings, leadership, programs? I mean, it's kind of just take a chance to envision that wonderful, perfect world that we could have if we had these additional supports. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about it in as a committee, and then I'm going to rely on you to go back to your sites and remind your friends, hey, you're going to get a survey. Don't forget to fill it out. This is important because this is data that's going to help guide as we apply, because we're applying as a district and each school site's going to apply. So what an ideal offering looks like at Smith might look a little different than what Green's community is envisioning, or what Twain's community is envisioning, or Anderson. So your input is really important to help us understand where the community wants to go with this. So in thinking about this, I thought, well, you guys already gave feedback once, and I hate to take your feedback and then have you feel like it didn't go anywhere. So I want to honor the fact that you already provided feedback, but about 1 pillar. It was all about the extended learning opportunities. And I want to just share just a little bit of the survey data that Dennis shared with you last year and the feedback that he took about areas of focus of most interest to your child. And you can see there's a lot. Sports are big, sports leagues, There's also engineering and computers and science and tutoring and languages, counseling, dance, music, drama. It's a lot of ideas out there. We have a lot of these things in pockets, right? This is an opportunity to expand. Then I think there was a prioritization about what would be the most important. So you see tutoring is big and sports are big and STEM. And again, but this was, you know, the survey last year. How we are feeling today might be a little different, or you're just going to highlight that, yeah, this is what we wanted then, and still what we want now, and this is what we want to see happen. So that's why we're having these meetings. Common desired elements. So Dennis and Maggie took this to the leadership team of the staff. We took it to the different sites. They put it out to parents. And these were the common desired elements that were already identified. So arts and career exploration, sports, again, sports keeps popping up, academic support. And here for the first time, you see social emotional supports being a big one that's been desired. Technology and science and skill-based programming. And then additionally, there are opportunities to include all of these other things, including field trips and college career connection. You heard a lot about college and career in Oakland. They also are K-12, so they have that high school piece, but we, even as young as kindergarten could be talking about our futures for college and career. And again, academic support. This is actually the chat that was collected from that ELOP meeting. And there were some ideas, and some of you were the ones giving them, like connecting. We have El Camino College right down the street. We utilize them for ESL classes, but there's a question, can we get tutors from them? Can we partner with them for more classes? Can parents apply for these jobs? Can we support? Is ELOP or any community schools an a la carte program, or is it like RAP where you have to sign up and commit to 5 days a week, 3 hours a day? You have the early release agreements you have to make, when you participate in that. Will this be the same thing? So it really just highlighted the things, and there seems to be a lot, and again, within just this one pillar of wanting to get to know the staff of REP, right? Because one comment here talks about, and I'm sorry, I keep trying to make this floating thing go away and it keeps coming back, and I don't know why. It won't leave me alone. But I get to know your teacher documents all the time when school starts, but how about from my REP counselor or from fill in the blank, any of the various services or groups that we could be providing in community schools. So this is what we have already. And what we want to do now is collect more current data on what you envision now. So we'd like to take some time today, first individually, thinking about it. In our room, I have some chart paper and some markers for you to kind of write down your ideas. For those of you who are in the stratosphere, we have the chat. And this is a, dream big. What are the things that you really think would be important? And we'll collect that data and synthesize it. We'll collect all the data from the individual families at the different sites and see what is it that you really think is big. How would you like to see our schools with this additional funding and partner support for our kids? I'm going to stop for questions. I'm looking at the screen. I can't tell who's out there, but if you have questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. Otherwise, I would like you, those of you out on Zoom, to start typing, put it in the chat. If you have an idea, whatever it is, go ahead. For those of you in the room, let's start talking. Chart papers here. Maybe we can have a one group over on this side and one group over on this side. Just start writing down your ideas, and then we'll have a group conversation. Yes.
If anybody needs to share in the meeting, you'll have to go to Julie's laptop for the audio.
Okay.
For today.
So when we get to actually sharing verbally, I'm going to clear out. I'm going to give the space to you. Yeah.
And one of the slides it says home visits. What is that?
Home visits in the past have been teachers going to homes or social workers going to homes to get to know the family better, to talk about supporting children. It's a voluntary thing. We're not going to just show up on your doorstep and say, "Hi, Daniela, we're here to talk to you." It's more about partnering together and finding out. I mean, oftentimes we use them when kids aren't coming to school. Sometimes like, we want to help you. How do we, what is the barrier to getting your child to school, or how do we work together to support your child? It looks different depending on the families involved, the school involved, and what the goal is. Okay, in-person people, talk right. Virtual people, start typing. Let's take, what time is it now?
9:30.
9:30. Let's take 10 minutes. At 9:40, we will come back together and share. Thank you.
Oh, I like that.
Okay, we're gonna come back and we're going to go whole group. We had two groups in person and I saw a very vibrant chat going on. So I'm gonna ask one group from in person to come share, and I'm gonna abdicate my throne here because they need to come and speak in front of the microphone. And then I'd like to open it to Zoom, and then I'll have our second group in person come, and then I'll reopen it to Zoom, okay? So which of your two teams would like to go first and come present?
There you go.
Okay. Okay, Sunny, I think you've been nominated. Come on down.
Great, thanks.
Come on over and take the chair.
Oh.
Can I steal your board and add, like, you guys can help me chime in if there's things that are missing?
We're gonna do, separate, we're gonna do two separate.
Start and then you guys just add on if you see things.
You wanna put it like on the chair?
Yeah, you just have to talk it through some.
Okay, there we go.
You may hold it for you?
I can see it.
No, well, I don't know if you wanna.
You all wanna see it? It won't see it.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. All right, well, so representing a group here at the DO, we had some thoughts on community schools, and there were a set of things that we were thinking about. One of those things was having a space, a parent center, which we already have, but really expanding that space. At some sites, it's very tiny. The one at Twain is like 3 butts big, and other ones are like full classrooms. But actually having a parent center at every space, at every school, that is really for parents. Because we want to make sure that it is available for parents all the time, that it's a set space that is for them, and not a space that like, oh, you know what, there's no one in here, so we're going to book this time. It is a problem that we have at Smith. It's definitely a problem that I think, again, here's a dedicated space that there's various things that are going on. And I think that would be a really big piece to it. Our team really thought that would be a big piece to it. At that center, there could be a pantry that would help support those that are, again, struggling, whether it's household goods or foods, the needs stuff. There could be counseling for parents and students, maybe some IT things. So these are, I think, pieces of things that the district already does, but we're talking about expanding them so that at each site, there is an ability for folks to be able to get these resources, and it's not somewhere else, right? It's at their school, so it's easier for them to be able to access it. There was also talk of like IAs, so instructional aids for every classroom, or for more than the ones that we have now. So that might help decrease like the class size. If there is an aid in there, there can be more individual attention for the students. Maybe there's various training and classes and office hours so that folks can go there to learn things. The Spanish classes being a great example. I will sign up for that in January. But for us for parents to feel more empowered and to feel capable of helping our students in the classroom, helping our students at home, but helping our kids in general, and maybe be better parents. As the video, I think, showed, a more involved parent group increases academic and, I think, general outcomes. Maybe medical stuff for each school site. And again, a lot of these pieces exist, I think, already before the district is going to officially apply for this grant, which I assume comes with more money. Yeah, comes with more money. The district's already doing these pieces, but if we can have more money, and if we can do it, I think, more comprehensively, it would be better. The last thing on our list was tutoring. Again, to give them more individualized care and focus and help. And I think that's it for us, unless the other group hasn't say something.
You know, let Zoom
Yes,
have a turn,
perfect.
And then we'll go back to in-person, and then we'll go back to Zoom. So thank you, Sunny, for sharing your group's ideas. I'm sure there's a lot in common. Yes, thank you, Sunny. Well done. Well done. I was trying to take a peek at the chat while the groups were working, and I saw a lot of discussion going back and forth about gang prevention and keeping kids off drugs and art murals. Would anyone in the Zoom world like to unmute and share some of the ideas? I saw you all were starting to have a conversation via chat, which was exciting. So would anyone like to share with the group? Dilma Acosta says, me, come on in. Unmute yourself and let us know.
Sorry. I'm trying to find the mute button.
There you
Good
go.
morning.
Morning.
I just wanted to kind of emphasize more on, I don't know if things are going on with DARE. I don't know if anyone here remembers the DARE program with the Say No to Drugs. I personally went through that program about maybe 5 times in my childhood, and it literally engraved it in me. It instilled it in me that you always say no to drugs. And I thought it was such a great program. I know it's not around anymore, but I thought maybe we can do something similarly with our students, you know, maybe starting in middle school, or I'm not sure in elementary school. I have a middle school child and I have a high school child. And I feel like because drugs right now are such a huge thing with fentanyl laced candies going on and all these overdoses, I feel like children don't have enough to say, or not enough resources to say, you know, this is not good, or I heard this is not good, or my parents told me it's not good. I mean, I personally tell my children, do not take any candy from anyone unless it's from a package that you saw that was opened, or just don't take it at all. Just say no, thank you. That was my opinion on the drug issues, but I do have more to say, as you saw in the chat. I don't know if you want me to take a moment to talk about that.
Take a moment. You got the mic, Deanna. Go for it.
Thank you. The other thing is, as I mentioned, I have a middle school child and a high school child, and I have volunteered in school for them quite a couple of times because I wanted to instill myself in my child's life to make sure that he knows that I am there for him and that I see what he is doing. So because of that, I've gotten to know his classmates, not very well, but I've gotten to know them enough where they can talk to me and they respect me. And so sometimes when they do activities together, just recently with the tree lighting, I saw them there. You know, I hadn't even seen them and they said, "Oh, hi, you know, Andrew's mom." And it's so nice for me that they confide in me, but I am not a what is that called when you have to report something? Mandated, a mandated
Mandated reporter.
yes, a mandated reporter. So I am not obligated to say anything. I don't feel comfortable going up to a parent and saying, "Hey, your child confided in me and said this." But I know that a few children would, I feel a few children would really benefit from a one-on-one session with someone. Not just like a counselor coming into class and saying, you know, we're here, this is our door, it's always open. I feel like they would really benefit from a one-on-one session where they say, okay, today we're gonna each go and have 10 minutes with the counselor, and that's it. And just ask them, are you okay? Are you feeling okay? Is there anything you would like to talk about that you don't feel comfortable talking to your parents? Because some of these kids, they don't want to talk to their parents about certain things, how they're feeling down, how they're feeling like they're being bullied by their classmates and they don't want to talk about it. How they're feeling, you know, pressure at home and they don't feel comfortable telling their parents, hey, this is too much pressure for me. I know as parents, we might think, oh, how can they have so much pressure? They're only a child, but they are individual people with feelings, and we need to give them their space to develop those feelings. And so I feel like that counseling one-on-one would really benefit, to just even ask, are you okay? Are you feeling okay? That's it.
Okay, check-ins with kids. Thank you for sharing, Dilma. I see a hand up from Ong Dao. Ong, would you like to share? If you unmute yourself, you can share. Okay, in the meantime, when you're ready, We'll take your comment, but I'm gonna shift gears and ask for our second group in-house to come share. Just being mindful of time.
I'll go quickly. Good morning, everyone. I'm Michael Price. I have had 3 students in the district. I have 1 remaining in 5th grade at Twain. And I'm gonna go through this really quickly, but we started off in my group, we had a parent who was also a staff member, so it brought some additional insight to our conversation. So we kind of went deeper instead of longer in our list. We started talking about opportunities to volunteer, that there's a lot of interest from parents to volunteer in certain ways, particularly in the classroom, but that opportunity to actually do it is not always available. It depends on teachers and their preference of whether they want students in the classroom. And then there's opportunities for parents to volunteer in other spaces in the school, but there may not be available or the interest may not be there. So it's a little bit of an imbalance, but there seems to be a desire to have engagement, but there's some just restrictions or things that are put in place to keep that from happening. And so particularly I mentioned that my oldest daughter started kindergarten in 2013. We had room parents. My children are part of dual immersion program. We had room parents in place. And so that was a very vibrant, engaged parent engagement group. At some point, that room parent opportunity went away, requested by a staff member that they no longer have room parents. And I felt that disconnected parents from the classroom immediately. It sort of stopped the pipeline of engagement or even parent leaders who eventually became leaders outside of the classroom. So volunteerism is desired. A lot of parents want to be a part of the classroom. So wherever that can be, like we saw in the video, we saw parents literally in the classroom. And so that would be great. Maybe there's signups and things to happen with that. What came up was also more clubs at the school during the school day. And maybe if some of these partner organizations can provide that staff member to do that, if you do a little bit of research around school districts that are around us or anywhere that parents may be looking to go, that there's options that are available during the school day where kids are involved in clubs. And sometimes it's a staff member that leads them or maybe an outside organization. So that gets more of students who maybe cannot stay after school or can't not get into the after school program. They have a chance to be involved during the school day. We also talked about a little bit of early bird, late bird scheduling. And there's somewhat of a pilot program going at Smith around some students. I think it was the English learner students. The e-alert at Smith were bringing in students early, like 7:45 before school started. They all have time together. And then there's another program that happens after school. So we were talking about sort of this flexible schedule approach where you're able to give particular attention to targeted communities, which will give you more out of the school day. So, and even one parent had an experience where when they were a student, they came in, there was a sort of split time at the start of the day. Some students would come in maybe at 8 o'clock hour and stay for a certain amount of time. And some would come an hour later. And there would be kind of a little bit of overlap with the students. But you'll have a certain group at an earlier time where you can pay more attention to, and then a later time. So it was just talking about being flexible during the school day. And it sounds like a little bit of that is happening, which led us to talking about when we were talking about, we were representing 3 different school sites and talking about how things are happening in certain school sites, but not elsewhere. Like I mentioned, like at Mark Twain Elementary, we have student council where students are elected in leadership positions at the school, and they're elected as 5th graders. There's a whole election process that the kindergartens through 5th grade to get involved in. This empowers students starting in elementary to sort of come up with their own ideas and figure out how to lead their peers. So that's a thing that's actually not happening at all schools. I learned that every school doesn't have a student council. And so one of the thoughts is that we may want to take inventory of what's happening at different school sites, because it sounds like there's a lot of great things happening in pockets, and figure out what those things that are being done can be expanded just across the district to make sure that it doesn't depend on what school site that you're at for the experience that your child may have. So those were the ideas that we came up with.
Thank you, Michael, for sharing. And yes.
Someone has their hand up.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, Hong Dao, are you able to unmute yourself now and share? Oh, host, please. Oh, it's not allowed. Am I the host? Who's,
I'm the host.
can
but
you unmute it?
It's, the feature's on to allow themselves to unmute themselves.
Okay,
or allow-
so if you go to the microphone button, Hung Dao, and click on it, it should unmute you so that we can hear you. Oop. Did you get through?
Okay, let me see.
Okay, Brenda's going to keep trying because we do want to hear what you have to say. If nothing else, please type in what you want to share in case we're struggling to get you on. I apologize. We'd really like to hear you. And while you're doing that, and just start talking when you're in, and I'll stop talking. We're just about at time, so I love so many ideas in the chat and what we've captured here on our posters. And I want to remind you that every one of you will be receiving an email in the next few days or early next week with a survey for you to fill out individually your own ideas so that each site can compile that data as well as we can look at it as a district. Because I'm hearing ideas even in this room that are site specific, and then can we make it a little more standardized across the sites? So we will take all of that information into consideration to make sure that we're offering the best possible community schools that we can. Before we close, I had intended to share a little bit about school site council, but as always, I plan 3 days worth of material for a one-day meeting. But I just wanted to let you know the biggest change with our school plans this year is that we are shifting the approval date for the board to the end of the school year till May. Because you may have noticed if you've sat on school site council before, it can be challenging in October to approve your plan when the data hasn't been released from the state yet. The templates look odd. So what we will be doing is working through it with your principals and with your school site councils between January and May. As all your CASP data has now populated in after Friday, the new dashboard data will populate into your plan. Friday is the end of the iReady testing second window. So when you come back in January, there's a whole bunch of data to sit and look at as a school site council. We will also be having second interim budget meetings with your principals to see you might have a little more money, a little less money. You have an opportunity to reallocate some things. So January will be a big month to look at how your kids are doing. Are we seeing growth, particularly in that iReady, because now we have 2 months worth, and to make some changes if that is warranted in your school plan. And then you'll submit them for the second time in May, but then never again until the following May. So when the school year starts, your plan's in place and you're good to go. And you're not trying to do elections and recruit members and get your plan approved in the first month of school. So we're trying to be smarter as time goes by. We all work hard. We just want to work smarter. And the final thing is our next meetings will be in January. I'm not going to try to share the screen again because I don't want to lose you all. But we have DLAC and DPAC in January. APAC meets again. Actually, we have the holiday celebration this Thursday. Next Thursday, the 20th at Carson from 4 to 5:30. And then DLAC and DPAC will reconvene in January. And that concludes what I need to share with you. I'm going to turn it over to our president to have the final word.
Actually, I should have a question in the chat.
Can you read it out?
It says, to me, these are the most important key points to teach our kids. Tutor a lot, prepare them for life with community class and sports clubs.
Okay, so I hear tutoring and sports clubs. Okay, great. Thank you so much. I'm sorry. I don't know how we couldn't get you on verbally, but thank you for putting in your ideas in the chat. And we are saving all of this and we'll make it available.
And then there was a question in the Q&A. I don't know if anybody saw it from Sharma. It says, why does Mark Twain Elementary have better test scores and why can't Mark Twain what Mark Twain is doing be replicated in other schools?
Okay, that's a big question, at 10 o'clock. And I think what we could do, here's two things we could do with that question. I can't answer that question for you right now because I don't work at Mark Twain. Here's two things I can say. One, when we come back in January, we can look at district-wide data and have conversations about what's happening. And I also encourage you to go back to your home school and have that conversation. Let's look at our data at our school. How can we improve? And what do we know are best practices that are out there, possibly at Mark Twain, possibly at our own site, that it's happening in 1 or 2 classrooms and we need to expand it to more of our classrooms. How can we, again, work smarter, not harder? So thank you for that question, and we will continue looking at data, but I really encourage you to do that at the school site level. Okay, now I give it to you, boss. Last word.
Well, once again, thanks to everybody for joining us here today. Definitely, we'll see you guys again on January. I just want to reemphasize the survey that'll be going out a few days, maybe a week or so. Let's try to put something together. Let's make sure our kids' voices are heard through us. And then let's enjoy this year, finish strong, keep our kids in the right path. And thanks again. Really wish everybody a happy new year, and I'll see you guys in the new year.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.
Bye.